إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بك من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله أما بعد يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. We begin by praising Allah Azza wa Jal, recognizing all of the blessings that He has provided for us, opening the doors of our hearts by counting all of the blessings He has given us. If we think we have been given a body, a brain, a functional human being that we are, a miracle in itself, the gift of faith, the ability to have a family, to be surrounded by community, to have a comfortable place in this life, to have a role, inshallah, to play as a student, as a teacher, as a community member, as a professional, to be someone that could draw near to Allah by seeking forgiveness, by doing good actions, by avoiding that which is something that we should avoid. And so that's how we draw near to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this is a Jumu'ah, a day of gathering where we are drawn towards Allah. It's not a place for a human being to say this is for my speech or this is a place to see people or to do other things. No, rather we are drawn to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and that's the reason for our gathering. That is the reason for our hearts to come together, inshallah. I am delighted as I see many young men and women in this masjid, mashallah. Summertime is here, as you could see. Some of you are not in school anymore. And this in itself is an opportunity. Allah has given you an opportunity, and let's see what you do with an opportunity. An opportunity is always a challenge. Can you do the best? And can you avoid that which is negligence to your understanding, to things that would harm you? And so this is a time, this is an opportunity Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given you, so make the most of it, right? Make the most of it and try to avoid those things that people do to waste their time. There is nothing more valuable than your time, whether you're old or you're young, whether you're sick or you're healthy, whether you are a scholar or you are a layperson. There's nothing more important than your time. And so people say, how much, and people measure it, right? What's the minimum wage? And they say about $15 an hour. And they say, what's the highest wage that people earn? And they say, oh, millions of dollars. And so earns this many, Bill Gates or Elon Musk or other people. They earn 10 seconds and they earn this many millions. And they do the calculation based on their, overall capital that they have or the numbers that they have. And so they do that. And even if your salary was 10 million an hour, you were given that much. And people say, can you just give an hour of your life and millions? And most people who are reasonable, they would say, no, I would rather have life to enjoy, even one more hour. And so that's how we recognize the value that Allah has given us, all the blessings that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us. Today, inshallah, as young people are here and old people are here, as men are here and women are here, and we welcome you. And when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says for Jumu'ah, the call is made, Allah doesn't say, oh men of this ummah, show up for Jumu'ah. That's not how Allah says. He says, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu. O you who believe, right? إِذَا نُودِيَ لِلصَّلَاةِ مِنْ يَوْمِ الْجُمُعَةِ فَاسْعَوْا. When the call is made for prayers, then go or hasten towards the prayer. So if you're a woman, if you're a man, if you're busy, you take time out to go to the masjid to remember Allah. And that is the reason why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He doesn't say rijal, He doesn't say nisa, He says people of faith. And so inshallah we're amongst them. I want to give you a couple of stories inshallah, or scenarios. And I want to tell you that these stories, you may have heard of people like, or stories of people like this before. And it is what you make of these circumstances that makes you great. Or it makes you somebody who is foul, has not gone in the right direction. It's the choice that you make. And these choices that are provided, you either pick a path to a place called Jannah, or you pick a path by saying yes, 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 turning in this direction, and that direction. You end up at a place that is called a bad place, perhaps, right? So these are choices that we make. And so I want to talk about a story of a teenager whose family was very religious. They were known in their town or in their country for their religiousness. And this person, at a certain age, was well known, and people are looking as this is the star of that family. You know, just known for her piety and goodness and doing good. And at certain point, she says, when calamity hit her, there was a test, there was a trial. And she said, I wish I was dead, forgotten. And that was the mental state of this person. I wish I was dead, I was forgotten, because this is too much. And so they're going through this psychologically, right? They're going through this tough time. And they're saying that because the test or the trial or the tribulation that they are going through is very difficult. I want to give you another example this time. Perhaps when people look at older people and they say, oh, so-and-so is very patient, oh, so-and-so is not patient. Young children are not as patient. When they see food, they want to rush towards food. There's no patience in them. And so there was an older person, and unfortunately he was tested. And his test I will share with you, but he kept crying, suffering from this ailment, from this test. And every time he remembers he had lost a son, a young, handsome, beautiful child who was very obedient to the father. But he had many other children, and people would say, oh, but you have so many other children. You lost one, it's okay. But decades after, he would not stop crying, and he would not forget his son. He has many others in front of him, but the one he lost, he would remember him. And so he became blind. And people said, is this a good example of being patient? Of accepting what Allah has decreed for you? Is this a good example? And so that is the case I put in front of you, my brothers and sisters. That is another story that I wanted to wish. And another story, inshallah, and I want to describe this. And those who come at the end will be very confused, inshallah. I will try to summarize the stories at the end. But treat these stories as the story of Musa and Khidr in the Quran. There's a conclusion that's coming, inshallah. The third story is of a man with a family, with a child or children, perhaps a couple of children, and his wife. And he says he's somebody who goes from one place to another, and he's always traveling. It doesn't matter if it's winter, summer, fall, spring, he's always traveling. His family's like, why do you have to go? Why do you have to leave us? And this is a family, he said, one time he says, I gotta go. And he's like, no, it's hot today. We don't even have enough water to drink. What about, he says, no, it's okay. I have to go. I must go. And these are the people who don't have PlayStations, internet, water, running water in their house, carpet. They don't have ceiling fans, no AC, no heat, right? So this is how they're spending their time. No Roblox, perhaps, right, of you who are concerned. no bitcoins to sell and buy and make money, no market shares, nothing. This man, he says, I'm leaving, I have to go, I'll see you later. And the family just says, that's your dad. Is that a great example of being a dad, being a father? This person just gets up and leaves. So that's another example of a person. How do you judge these people? How do you judge these people? And so the last one I want to give you is of a woman, example, who is in a relationship and they don't have the children, and she's, obviously, and the man is very abusive, psychologically, physically, and so on and so forth. The man is basically what you call, in plain English, a jerk. Right? This person's a jerk, doesn't recognize what he's doing, but he is just out there. But this woman doesn't leave her husband. And people around her are like, why not? Why not? And she says, well, I have a son that I've adopted and I got to carry on with him. And so this is her circumstances, but she doesn't leave. And people talk about what is wrong with this individual. And if you look at all these individuals, they have a story. And my brothers and sisters, inshallah, as I come to conclusion in the second khutbah of these four people, there's a story that everybody has. And when we look at people, when we simply try to judge people by what we see, we often fail. Allah Azza wa Jalla, He mentions an ayah to us. يَعْلَمُونَ ظَاهِرًا مِنَ الْحَيَاةِ الدُّنْيَا وَهُمْ عَنِ الْآخِرَةِ هُمْ غَافِلُونَ. They see and they're only aware of the outward appearances of things. But from the akhirah, but from the what's going to happen in the hereafter, they are totally neglectful of what's going to happen to them. And so I remind myself and you, inshallah, to be people of Allah, to be people who are focused. Our focus should be on ourselves first, before we try to judge people. Because judgment is what subhanahu wa ta'ala does. And not only in this life, but also in the hereafter. So, وَأَقُولُ قَوْلِي هَذَا وَاسْتَغْفِرُ اللَّهَ لِي وَلَكُمْ وَلِسَائِرِ الْمُسْلِمِينَ وَالْمُسْلِمِينَ. Bismillah wa salatu wa salamu ala Rasulillah. So I gave you the plot of a novel. There's a lot of suspense in this novel. I don't give you the conclusion till the second khutbah. And so let's talk about these four people. And then, inshallah, let's go into what we learned from their story, inshallah, and what we learned from this khutbah. The teenager, the girl, she's actually pregnant with a child. People of the town, they say, how dare you? How could you? Your mother is a righteous person. Your father is a noble person. And she is silent until Jibreel comes and gives her the good news and gives her the tranquility of Isa ibn Maryam. That is the story of Maryam alayhi salam. She is a person, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put her in certain very difficult circumstances. And she said, Nasiyam mansiya, I wish I was dead, forgotten. That was her mental state, because the test was tough. And I want you to understand that all the heroes, they suffer. They feel pain. They go through hardship as well, just like you do. But what makes them heroes is the simple fact that they choose the right course of action. They don't say, because it's difficult, I'm going to accept that which is wrong. And that's not what patience is. Patience is to accept and to stand up for that which is right. And if you keep doing that, you're being patient. And not to accept anything wrong with it. And so this is the story of Maryam alayhi salam, my brothers and sisters, who even after her world is collapsing, having that news, having that information, she retreats, she goes away from the people. But at the same time, she's steadfast. And even though she's She is moved by all the circumstances that is surrounded her, the news that goes around. She's still, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives her patience and perseverance. The man who kept crying, and others said, "You're not patient." And that is what we know that others would say. You're not patient because you're crying. You're not patient because, oh, you lost a son, you got 12 others. You're not patient because, oh, he was just a little child. It wasn't like that he was bringing you some stock market money or a good salary. No, that was the case of Yaqub alayhi salam, the father, when he lost Yusuf and lost his eyesight from crying. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says about him that he said, فَصَبْرٌ جَمِيلٌ, I would have beautiful patience. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He didn't say, why are you crying, Yaqub? Why are you crying for your son? You keep remembering him. Because at the end of the day, he is like you and me, a human being. He feels the emotions. He is vested in his children. He loves his children. He loves his family. And there's nothing wrong with that. Because after all, you and me and him, are all human beings. And so we have to recognize the humanity. It's not that we cry and we feel emotions and we remember things and we want to hold on to the past. But it's the fact that we always praise Allah Azza wa Jal, show gratitude and show patience when we are tried. And that's what makes us noble people. And that's what made them noble people, not because of their lineage, because what they did and how they persevered, my brothers and sisters. And so when calamity hits you, we respond by saying, truly to God we belong and to Him we shall return. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. And that's how we're elevated, my brothers and sisters. You say, oh, my son. No, Allah's child. Oh, myself, I lost so much wealth. No, Allah's wealth. It belonged to Him and it was, in fact, taken back. That's okay. That's okay. Yes, I feel hurt. Yet I feel emotionally it's disturbed. But it was Allah's after all. And that is how we are human beings. The last two, inshallah. The father who leaves his family, as you may have recognized, no water. And Zamzam comes after him. And that is the story of Hajar and the story of Ismail alayhi salam. And that is the story of Hajj, the Safa and Marwa, going back and forth. You have to have the right intention. And she said as he was leaving, are you leaving us? And he doesn't reply back. Are you leaving us because Allah told you to do so? And he waits, and she understands. If Allah said so, we're going to be patient. That was his wife. If Allah commanded you, go do Fajr. It's okay. If Allah commanded you, go do Isha prayer. If Allah commanded you, go take care of these poor people. If Allah commanded you, go take care of things that will benefit humanity. And so that's how they understood. There was a goal, and there was a direct relationship with Allah. It's okay. He doesn't have any car garages. He doesn't have any sports cars. It's okay. No PlayStations for his kids. He's not worried about that. He's worried about something else. Making the right choice. Always saying yes to Allah. When you say yes to Allah, you win everything. You don't have to worry about those, it's all dirt at the end. That's what it becomes. It all becomes dirt. You become dirt. This all becomes dirt. The value is the choices that you made. What you said yes to and what you said no to. And the last one, inshallah, my brothers and sisters, the story of a woman who was in a bad relationship. And all four of these people are actually mentioned in the Quran. And her disturbing husband, a psychopath, was none other than the rich and famous Pharaoh, Fir'aun. And this is a story of Asiya, radiallahu anha. She was somebody that was a very noble person. And she stayed in that marriage, and you say, why would she stay in this marriage? You know who she raised? Musa would not have been there if he wasn't raised under the right tutelage of the right person, a righteous person. Because Fir'aun wasn't the righteous parent in this relationship, because the Fir'aun has, again, adopted, the house of the Fir'aun has adopted this Musa as a son. And the mother comes in, the real mother comes in later, as Musa wouldn't drink or suckle the milk of any of the nurses. But Allah raised Musa with Asiya. And you say, bad relationship, leave. Perhaps. Who are you and I to judge? And so Allah provided a way for Musa. And it's not for us to judge again. That is the last point I want to make, inshallah. If people stay or if they leave, it is according to what they see fit, inshallah. And there is no, you can't give a fatwa about these issues. You can't say, oh, this is right and this is wrong. You let people live their lives how they want to live their lives. And hopefully they make the right decisions. The last thing I want to remind you, inshallah, heroes, who are these people, that noble people that you want to follow? The ideals. The ideals, they suffer. They're human beings just like you and me, but they make the right decisions. They're not people who say, because the test is tough, they don't give up. That's number one. Number two, they suffer. They're not perfect people. They're not perfect people by any measuring, right? We understand. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He ennobles them, honors them by making mention of their good actions. And that is the reason why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He mentioned all four of these people in the Quran. And with that, I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us amongst those people who are righteous people. Perhaps we're those people who are not known to the community, but you're known to Allah, and that is the most important thing. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala enables us to make the right decisions. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us amongst those people who do not waste our time. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us tawfiq to be amongst those individuals who are people of Allah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us amongst those who are leaders and people who others, when they come, they follow our examples. When others, when they look at us, they are reminded of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When others, when they look at us, they see the actions, the sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the character of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the reading of the Quran in our actions. Ameen bi rahmatika ya arhamar rahimin. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, those who are sick, to give them shifa. Those who passed away, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have mercy on their souls. Our dear brother Ibrahim Abdul Mateen, the author of Green Deen, some 10, 12 years ago, he has passed away. Make dua for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive his sins and have mercy on his souls. He was a noble person. May Allah azza wa jal, this is how we see him. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give him all the blessings of the hereafter and provide patience to his family. Ameen bi rahmatika ya arhamar rahimin. Wa sallallahu wa salli ala sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi.